Hello, everybody. My name is Nicole, and I've decided to start homeschooling my kids. And so, to make it work with what I'm studying, then I decided to do some video classes that I can change with other parents. Um, so, this is kind of a test run, and I'm kind of moving, and it's kind of a mess. So, I'm not very good at the technology. Making this a fancy video presentation. But however, if this does hit off and it's well needed, then I will redo these videos with somebody that can help me make these look a little bit more professional. Anyway, so for all age groups, these lessons can be adjusted. My students happen to be 4th and 6th grade students. I do a mixture of Khan Academy and Time for Learning. I also do videos and YouTube videos and do a lot of research and find out, we kind of look and make sure that the information is not fake. So there's a lot of good information out there, and unfortunately with the herbology, then the study of flowers and the different herbs out there, then it's still considered a science, even though it's been used for thousands and thousands of years. So there's different types out there. There's Chinese medicine, and there's the Ayurvedic diet, and the Indian medicine, and then there's native Indian as well. There's folk medicine and whatnot. Some of these remedies are not that great, so you do need to make sure you do your research on each thing before you try them. For an example I can give you right off the bat is the ear candles. They don't actually do anything. They're just kind of more therapeutic, and they can actually cause more problems, especially if you use them a lot. So make sure you do your research before you use any of these remedies. And there's also a thing called allergies. So some people are allergic to different herbs, but that's the wonderful thing about all these different spices and herbs out there is that there's a lot of different things that do the same thing or similar things, and so you can find a different alternative. All right, so the segment that we're going to start out with, I'm going to call Flower Power. And what I've started with my girls is to explain to them that I will not be giving them all of the answers. They will be doing a lot of the research on their own. I will give you a little bit of information to go on. Then I expect the research to be done, and then I will follow up with a few classes that will give you some answers. Okay, this is to help you study and learn how to study more than anything. Okay, so now again, the class that I'm starting to call this group of videos is Flower Power. Now, in our backyard, we have these beautiful sunflowers that like to grow. Now, these aren't as big as some of the ones that do come out here because these ones happen to be wild and grew in the middle of summer, so they haven't been growing all summer. We also have a lot of roses, and I'm highly allergic to roses, so it's very limited in what we do with roses and make sure that we don't get stuff that has the pollen. But I had my girls go out and pick those roses, and we started our project with learning about them. So I will give you a little bit of information to kind of let you understand the journey that we're doing. So they went and picked the rose petals because we heard that there are some countries that use them in salads. Who knew? It is actually very popular overseas to put rose petals, sunflower petals, and various other types of flowers that are edible into the salads. And it's not just your plain Jane lettuce and tomato. Okay, we do know that there's other salads that have other things in it, but these are a little more colorful, and you just don't think about eating flowers. So I have one child that is upset and doesn't want to eat flowers because they're so beautiful. And so she decided to make a bath with some lavender and roses and Epsom salt. So anyway, there's a lot of benefits to knowing what you're looking at. It's not just a pretty flower. These things can be eaten, and there's benefits to eating them. So right now they're researching that, and they will be doing the report on sunflowers and roses. So you'll get more information from them about those flowers. I particularly have a couple of my favorites, and I will be doing some short videos on each one of them. So we have what's called the Black-Eyed Susan, and this is very, very closely related to the Encinia, which is a very beautiful purple flower that is usually put in a supplement capsule to help people boost their immune system. Now there's other, the Black-Eyed Susan happens to be a stronger boost, but works just like the Encinia. Ginger is something else that can also help boost an immune system, and coconut oil. Okay, so understanding that things that you eat and that you take and you put on your body can help you. Then you learn how to help keep your body balanced so you get sick less. And then when you do get sick, you can have that cold or flu or whatever virus that's out there not last as long and not be so bad if you know what to eat to kind of help those things, or what tea to drink. Okay, so we'll be talking a little bit more about Black-Eyed Susans. They look like a mixture between a marigold and a sunflower. Okay, we also have a flower that is actually, they look like miniature sunflowers, really. The calendula is more of your marigold sunflower mixture, and the calendula is it is your multi-purpose flower. I absolutely love this flower, and I can show you how to make. One of the things that I'll be doing is I'll be showing you how to make a calendula infused oil, and using it to make a salve, which can be put on your skin, and our lip gloss, and what to put in it to help with fever blisters. So we'll be learning a little bit about how we can use flowers for first aid, okay, and not just your immune system. Chamomile is one of those wonderful things that you think, oh, chamomile tea, it's so mild, it's so good. You don't realize how many benefits that it has, that it does wonders for your intestines and your immune system. Well, your intestines more than anything, your stomach. Dandelions help with keeping you from bloating. It helps you absorb your vitamins. It helps your intestines quite a bit. It also helps your liver. Matter of fact, it's very important to know that the liver is one of those things that are not generally treated until it's bad. And 8 out of 10 people have an issue with some sort of issue on one level or another with their liver at some point in their life. It can cause things like chronic fatigue, and it's just not fun. It's one of the things that I'm dealing with, and dandelion has been a big help. Okay, yarrow is also another flower that is very common. It used to be used a lot more. It's used for when you're sick, or to keep you from being sick. It is also used for wound treatments to help stop bleeding. Okay, so back to the dandelion. This was something that was also brought overseas into America. They used to clear fields and plant dandelions. Now we get all these wonderful chemicals out there and trying to get rid of them because we consider them a weed. Now keep in mind that this is a very versatile plant, that from the root to the leaves are very commonly thrown in salads, and so are the flowers. The roots are generally cleaned up, chopped up, and roasted in the oven, and can be used to make special teas that, mixed with another couple of natural remedies like chicory, you can make. There's some wonderful teas out there that are coffee alternatives that help with the liver. Okay. Anyway, so this is just the beginning. So what right now we're learning a few things. So the top things that we are asking, the questions that we are asking is, what flowers out there are edible? What do they do for our bodies? How do we use them? What things can they help with? Basically, we're learning how they're not there just to look pretty, okay? But it is nice to have something beautiful in your garden and know that you have something for an emergency. And if you do take them and dry them, how do you use them? How do you save them? Because if they only bloom during the summer or the spring or whatever, then you need to know what to do with them to be able to have them when you do need them. Okay. Then you also need to know the different parts of a flower, because some of these flowers, like roses, for example, you can eat the whole entire plant just like a dandelion. And you need to be able to know what parts they're talking about for different recipes. Okay. And then specifically, because we're doing a lot of our learning based around cooking, we are specifically looking for recipes that are out there, not just for the first aid and for your lotions and creams and whatnot, or our hair rinses. We're looking for recipes to actually eat and try them. And then we're trying to find a place where there's no pesticides, like our own backyard, and use those flowers to be able to try and see what they taste like. It's very important to know and follow those directions, because some of them are quite bitter, and some of them you're supposed to cook before you eat them. Some of them you're supposed to boil, rinse, and drain that water, and then boil them again before you eat them, so they're not bitter. Some of them you even fry. Who knew? Some of them you just put in the oil and how to infuse oil, and some of them you infuse in honey. So there's a lot of very sweet ways to be able to eat these flowers and have them and taste wonderful. So I'm going to list a few flowers that to kind of give you a head start on some flowers that are out there. So I mentioned roses. There's also sunflowers and lavender. Cilantro is actually a flower, and we use that quite a bit. I mentioned black-eyed Susans, calendula, chamomile, yarrow, and dandelion. There's also a flower called hibiscus. In Africa, they use this flower to help with high blood pressure. Okay. We'll also learn in another segment a little bit more about hawthorn and the different berries and bushes and trees that have fruit. Pansies are used. So and then there's your California poppy that helps you sleep. There's a passion flower that helps you sleep. So find out how they help you sleep. Elderberry, garlic flower. There's just so many more out there. And we think that some of these things we're like, oh, we eat the garlic, but do we eat the flower? And then we find out that there's more of the plant that we could be eating. And some plants, it's very important to know your plants, because some plants, only the flower is edible. Or like in elderberry, the flower is very mild, the leaves are a little bit stronger, and the root is really, really, really strong. Okay, so you don't want to give a root to a child. So you need to kind of know the difference in the strength of some of these roots. These are basically, you need to understand that a lot of these things are also old-fashioned medicine. So you need to be careful on how much, and when you introduce these things into your diet, make sure you do it in small amounts and don't do a whole meal with several things with flowers in it. Okay, introduce a few at a time. Make sure that you don't have an allergy, and that you can handle these different flowers in your system. And because they're so healthy and beneficial, there may be things wrong with your body you don't even know that are wrong until you've actually, eaten some of these things and it starts trying to correct it for you. Okay. All right. So another thing that we're doing along with these flowers and this healthy eating is we're also learning a method called Tai Chi for exercises. and it helps us be in tune with nature. So there will be times that we will be doing things like a nature walk, where we'll be taking pictures, identifying flowers and plants, and finding out what they can do for us, as well as doing some of our exercises and just learning how to be a part of nature. I mean, that's how we started. So anyway, I look forward to continuing some of these lessons, and we'll be giving some assignments out with some of these lessons, and we'll be looking forward to some of the videos and presentations about the different flowers also, and plants that we'll be studying throughout this year. Okay. Oh, and be sure to share all this information with your parents, and the websites that you are looking up your information on. Make sure you save them, even if that means sending them on Messenger, on Facebook to your parent, or whatever means that y'all use to save your research history. Okay? All right. Thanks. Bye.